Welcome to our Acre Pro buy sell. And the more I hear of Mike Carmin, I will listen to our radio podcast. This guy knows what he's talking about, which is a good thing, and he can articulate it well. So I'm always looking forward to, because we don't script a lot of this. Really interested to hear. I've got some doozy questions for him. They're going to put him so much on the spot he won't know what to do with himself. But no,
yeah, I don't remember getting a script, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Want to thank also our friends at Acre Pro Midwest Farm Group, Kyle Spray and Company. Visit acrepro.com or call 765-587-3185 or talk to your local land expert today. Again, that number 765-587-3185. All right, this is a buy-sell because, Acre Pro, that's the deal of buying and selling farmland. So we always get into buy-sell. And I had some good questions of things of what you're buying and selling. Now, full disclosure, Big Ten is going to announce its Player of the Year, all Big Ten teams, Coach of the Year, moments after this. So we're not cheating here, depending on what happens. But I'm going to ask you first, buying or selling Ross-Ade as Big Ten Player of the Year? I think I know the answer to this, but tell me what you think.
Can I double down?
Yes, to double or nothing is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been his race all year, from the beginning to the end, and that's what this award is about. It's about the 20-game Big Ten schedule, and if you want to factor in some of the non-conference games as well, that's okay. But if you just look at the Big Ten in general, I think he was the best player in this league. Now, other guys had great years. Trace Jackson-Davis, Jalen Pickett, Boo Buie, even Shamar Young from Maryland. But, Zach has, not to get too punny here, but he stood above the competition all year with the double-doubles and just in what he means to the team. And I know the Big Ten doesn't do this, but I would also put him as the most improved player in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
we've all, we've been there from the beginning when he started, and just the progress he's made each year, and then the big leap that he has made this season, just from a development standpoint, a fundamental standpoint. I think he doesn't, depending on your perspective here, he doesn't foul a lot, or he's not called for fouls a lot, but I think he's a very intelligent player. And that's the thing that has probably surprised me more, is just how quickly he has latched on to the verbiage of basketball, understanding the nuances of basketball as far as rebounding and positioning and all that kind of stuff. It's been a pleasure to watch him get to this point. And there's still another ceiling for him, I believe, whether it's at Purdue or somewhere else. I think there's another ceiling for him. I think he can get better in some areas, but his footwork is tremendous. All his, he's got some athleticism that maybe people don't really appreciate because of his size. And yeah, he's had the best year, and he should win it. He won't be unanimous. That's not going to happen, but he should be, in my opinion, the clear winner of the Big Ten Player of the Year award.
I'm being somewhat facetious here, and well said that my next buy sell would be: is he going to shoot a face-up jump shot before the end of the season? Because they've been screaming for that in Mackey the last couple of home games. I'm thinking he won't. So
I think the opportunity to do that, if
it'll come next year if he stays at Purdue. I think
the opportunity this year would have been Sunday if Purdue could have held on to its 24-point lead, because you're not going to do that when you're in a tight game. No. And I don't know if he would even do it or not. He seems pretty committed to doing whatever the offense is and making his one dribble, passing it off, and then getting back down to the block. But if Mackey Arena needed a new decibel level, then him shooting a three would probably get there.
Or even just a 17-footer, 16-footer would be good. So I think you're so dead on, at least a little bit I've been around him and the way he handles himself. He ain't messing around. He's doing what totally focused on doing what's best for this team moving forward, and not to gush, but that just seems to be him. And unless I don't think we have seen enough of his body of work that I don't see that changing in the near term, the way he handles everything that he does. All right.
That's really everybody on this team.
No question.
It's just not him. There's a different level of how this team is connected, compared to other teams here recently. And Dak's a big part of that. The captains are a big part of that. Brandon Newman's a big part of that. I mean, you go down the list. This team is really is together, but it doesn't mean they're going to hit shots. Doesn't mean they're going to get stops. Doesn't mean they're going to make plays. But it won't be the reason why they fall short or lose at some. If they happen to do that here in the postseason, but. It's good that chemistry is good, and the culture that Painter has built continues to kind of shine a little bit here.
Yeah, I was going to say, and not to digress too much, just the fact that we had another Mike takeover kind of a post game, kind of like what Ross-Ade did a few days ago with Ethan Morton. Literally praising the guy that's beat him out in the short term. I mean, that was extremely impressive, and I don't think it's just window dressing. I mean, it doesn't.
No, it's not.
They're not just doing it just to be good guys. I think he acted like Ethan Morton really meant what he said.
I've been around Ethan for as long as he's been here, and I don't think he says stuff that he doesn't mean.
Yeah.
If he was a different kind of guy, this would maybe be his moment to be bitter, but he would he like to score more? Yes, but he's bought into his defensive role, and him and Brandon have really. I mean, two guys on your team get a combined 7 steals in any game, regardless of the Big Ten game or whatever. And that's not really Purdue's game.
Yeah,
when you get right down to it, they don't generate a lot of turnovers off steals. But yeah, to me, it's real, but we'll see how it all plays out. But it's a good sign going into the postseason that those things are being said, and I really think they're being met when they say it.
Surely every indication is such. All right, buying or selling, again, we'll know the answer to this by the time most of our viewers and listeners see us. Matt Painter as Big Ten Coach of the Year. That's a tougher one.
That is a much tougher one. When you win this league by 3 games, it should be a no-brainer.
Yes.
But when Northwestern does something that's not finishing in last place, you get momentum for Chris Collins, and credit to Chris Collins. I mean, he came into this year knowing he had to win because he was definitely on the hot seat and had pushed this team to a second place finish in the Big Ten. There'll be a lot of momentum for him. And, if you want to go and look, well, Purdue was picked 5th, they finished 1st. Northwestern was picked 13th and finished 2nd. I mean, yeah, they made a huge jump there, but both guys should. It would be nice if the media did one and the coaches did the other. Because I think they both earned the right to be Coach of the Year. But I have this strange feeling that Collins is probably going to get it, because when else are you going to give Western basketball coach the Coach of the Year? And that's just what that's just kind of where their program has been. But that's a really it's a dangerous team because of the guards and. How he's brought that together, and a local kid with Brooks Barnheiser is really playing well for them right now. They don't have the inside muscle that a lot of teams in the Big Ten have, but they've been able to manage that and to kind of separate themselves. Beat Indiana twice, get above the carnage that has been 2nd through 12th place all year. It's a credit to them. So, I think Matt. Has earned it, but I won't be shocked if, Chris Collins ultimately gets it.
All right, Big Ten tournament on the horizon. Purdue does not play until Friday at noon against the Rutgers Michigan winner. But we've I think talked about this a little bit offline. All right, you're going to take one of the Wednesday's teams to get to Saturday. Will that have you buying or selling that? Meaning one of the Wednesday, meaning the 4 teams playing that
Right.
they'll win at least somebody will win out of that group will win 3 games and get to Saturday. You think that'll happen?
I don't know if it will happen, but if you're going to ask me to pick a team that it could make it happen, I would say Ohio State.
Yeah.
Not that they have an easy path, but as everyone knows, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of talent on that team.
Yeah.
And even though they lost at Michigan State, they appear to have put some things together here down the stretch that, I'm always cautious when a TV announcer says, well, no one wants to play Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. Well, they're the 13th seed. Well, everybody wants to play them. Yeah. But this because of the talent they have on that team, and maybe they have figured a few things out here recently that you get on a neutral court. I mean, they should handle Wisconsin, but then you're getting into Iowa and then you're getting into Michigan State, potentially teams that I think that they can compete with. So that would be the team that I would pick. I don't know if a team's going to make it from Wednesday to Saturday, but if there is one, that's the one I think can do it.
Yeah, Nebraska's interesting though too. I mean, they are interesting just in terms. I don't know if they can put 3 games together, but could they win on Thursday? Yeah, they could. I mean,
they should win on Thursday or Wednesday.
They'll win on Wednesday, but I'm talking about even win on Thursday to get to Friday.
Well, I mean, in their favor is Maryland, who doesn't know anything other than playing on their home court.
Yeah.
I mean, they're one in 8, Big Ten game on the road this year.
1-9, right?
So that wouldn't shock me, but I would say Ohio State has the better chance to win a few games here in the Big Ten tournament.
All right, a couple more of these to hit you on. All right, a Purdue. Let's see, in Indiana is the 3 seed.
Yes.
Okay, so are you buying a Purdue Indiana final, which means that we're going to make the assumption that Purdue's going to win 2 games, which we're not assuming that by any stretch, but you buying that notion that you might have a Purdue Indiana final? Is that stacked up for you, or do you think both of those teams? We all know they're all susceptible to getting beat because everybody in this league is. But how do you view that?
Well, I would give it probably a greater than 50% chance of happening.
Yeah.
Purdue has established itself as the best team in the league, but Indiana was right there, after they got through their early season struggles. And you remember, they were picked to win the league. They have a lot of talent. But again, you go back to, although Coach Schifino had a great game at Mackey Arena, the next game against Iowa, he did not. Now he's back outside of Assembly Hall, and he fight through that again on the road and have a good performance. But, it's guys like Trey Calloway and Miller Kopp that I think will determine how far Indiana goes, not only in the Big Ten, but in the NCAA. And, both teams would have a difficult road to get to the championship game. Purdue's looking at probably Michigan.
Yeah.
And that's a team with a lot of talent. And Jet Howard didn't play the first time Purdue played. And then you're looking at whoever, Michigan State, Iowa, maybe Ohio State in the semifinals. And then Indiana's, maybe going to face a Maryland team that very athletic, very, very talented. So both teams have tremendous challenges to get there. I don't know if it would be good for either team to play each other in the Big Ten tournament. And I say that because it's a rivalry game.
Spend energy.
Yes. The last thing you want to do is have one of those games that kind of takes it out of you a little bit heading into the most important game of your season, which will be the first round of the NCAA tournament. Because both teams would be sky high and jacked up to play that game, and the atmosphere would be tremendous. But I don't know if it'd be the best for both teams to play each other at any point in the tournament. And the only time they can do it is in the championship game. But if it happens, it would be good. It's too bad it wouldn't be in Indianapolis, but it would be good. But I do give it a better than 50% chance of happening.
Yeah, and of course, the one advantage is it is guaranteed basically that Purdue will play on Friday in the NCAA tournament in Columbus. So at least Purdue has another day of quote unquote rest if they get to Sunday. From that standpoint, it would be a good thing. All right, last one, and this has been asked by everybody, and your guess is better than most, but as good as anyone. Purdue gets to the final on Sunday. Are they a number one seed? You buying that?
If they get to the final,
yes. If they get to the Big Ten final on Sunday, will they be a number one seed?
they should be a number one seed, but you always have to take into consideration what happens around them.
Yeah.
Because
because UCLA's got a it's UCLA and Purdue. Is that fair to say?
Well, I mean, if Alabama goes out in the first round with all the problems that they've had and the struggles they've had down the stretch, are they still worthy of being a number one seed?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the team they're taking into the tournament, and it's not been playing at a very high level. So I think they're on shaky ground a little bit. I think Houston is solid. Kansas should be solid, but those other three teams are kind of vying for two spots. I would say in any other year, winning the Big Ten regular season and getting to the Big Ten championship game is enough of a resume that you should earn a number one seed in the tournament. But there's other factors involved there. I mean, if you're just looking at the eye test of stuff, I mean, UCLA looks really good right now. Yeah. You watched their game against Arizona the other night, and they got down early, but came back with a vengeance and really established themselves as a team to beat in this tournament, along with, about 10 other teams that could potentially do it as well. In most years, I would say, Purdue should be a number one seed. And, and by that time, the committee's going to know what's going to happen, because they can't wait till the last minute to do that. So, but I think it's a byproduct of what happens around them as well, where they get that. And if you want Purdue to be the number one seed, the good news is that while the committee did this mock reveal last month, they only did the top 16 seeds. But basically this week, they're starting from scratch. They start with a blank canvas and then go through it. And Purdue has numerous quality wins outside the Big Ten and in the Big Ten to warrant a number one seed with the quad one wins and all that kind of stuff. So they'll be on that line. They'll be in consideration. I don't see them falling much farther than the top number two, or would be the fifth seed overall, which probably gets them to Louisville. I mean, again, in most years, I know it's kind of a wishy-washy answer, but I wouldn't be shocked if they were a number one seed if they got to the finals. I don't know if they have to get to the finals to be a number one seed, but it certainly helped their cause.
I think one of the things, and we talked about this earlier, is one thing. If I'm Purdue, I don't want to see Kentucky in that Sunday game in Columbus. I may not be able to avoid that, though it depends. Maybe Kentucky can move its way out. That's one bit of Purdue paranoia that I just think, you'd like to avoid. Anybody playing in the first weekend is going to be tough. I get that, but boy,
one thing I like to tell people, and everybody does these brackets. Everybody's got their own opinion about as far as where they should be. And I know there's some really good ones out there that line up. We have no idea what the committee's thinking other than what they did a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Beyond the top 16 teams, we have no idea how they view Kentucky. We have no idea how they view North Carolina to that fact. We just don't know. Yeah. And I know there's some projections that have Kentucky and Columbus and stuff like that. I just wouldn't lose my mind over it right now. If it happens, well, then you got to deal with it. Yeah. But I wouldn't worry about it right now until you get to that point.
You got to win. You got to win to get there, and they got to win to get there. They're going to have to win a 7-10 game if they're a 7 seed. All those factors are true. But I look at things from I'm a cynical dude, and the television Oscar Tshiebwe versus Ross-Ade is really exciting television for noon on Sunday, which is good because then they'll get you back home earlier. But but you're right. every time that you think that you haven't it figured out, even from Jerry Palm and Joe Lenardi, Mike DeCourcy, all do a good job, and others they throw a little punch your way that you don't quite expect. So that I'm with you on that. We'll take a chill pill on that one and let that one ride for a little bit. So. All right, Mike, we beat you up long enough here, but we appreciate your time and your expertise, and even your wishy-washy answers were good. We appreciate that as well. We want to thank our friends at acrepro.com, Kyle Spray and Company. You can go to acrepro.com or dial 765-587-3185. Don't forget also that Mike Carmin will be providing more wisdom tomorrow night at the Union Club Hotel. That would be Wednesday night. It'll be 7:00 at the Boiler Up Bar. Will be on Facebook Live as well, and we'll look forward to doing that. I know, Mike, this could be the highlight of his, like I always say, the highlight of your media career. It could be right tomorrow night. I don't know. So
I need to go back through my invisible contract and see all these things that you're having me to do. As a lowly freelancer here, I need to go back and look at the language of the contract.
I think you need to. All right. Sounds good. Thanks again. And thank you all of you for watching and listening. And we appreciate that. And we'll be doing another one of these per Mike's contract, which may be revised by now. We'll try to do another one heading into the NCAA tournament as well. So have a great rest of the day all, and appreciate again everybody watching and listening.